Hello, I'm Martin L. Shoemaker, one of the authors in Robots Through the Ages, an exciting new anthology coming from Blackstone Publishing, July 25th, edited by Robert Silverberg and Bryan Thomas Schmidt. This book is a history of robot stories across the field of science fiction going back more than 100 years, including 3 new stories never before seen just for this volume, including one of mine. And I have loved the stories in this volume, and I would like to put together a video reviewing each of the different stories within it and share it with you so that you can see what you can get in this amazing volume. Our next story in Robots Through the Ages is of Homeward Dreams and Fallen Seeds and Melodies by Moonlight by Ken Scholes. I'm not a fan of long titles myself in general, but that one has got poetry to it. It has got music to it. So I'll take it. And it's reading it aloud that I realized exactly how much it captures the spirit of the story, which opens as follows. Tovin the Far-Seer climbed his mountain alone to his solitary watch. Each foot fell heavily upon the worn stone as he traced the path of his father and his grandmother before him. Each morning the same. Pray and then watch. And again each evening. Watch and then pray. Tovin sighed and felt the weight of his life with each step he took. Around him, the air took on the chill of an early winter, and the sky was overcast, promising a cold rain later. The moon, in all its blue-green glory, was hidden now, and he was grateful for its absence. The sight of it was a reminder of how short-sighted their new Far-Seer truly was. He sighed again and wondered if this time he would see their promised salvation rising from the sea that had imprisoned his people so long ago. This story by Ken Scholes is one of the 3 original stories in Robots Through the Ages. When Bryan Thomas Schmidt talked to Ken about writing a new story, Bryan was interested in Ken's series that starts with Lamentation about the robot Isaac. And Ken was trying to come up with a story that would fit well with the published work in the series, but wouldn't complicate any of his ongoing storylines. And suddenly he realized that he could fit in a prequel, sort of an origin story of Isaac. And that's our story in this collection. It's a story of a prophecy about a metal man who kneels facing a temple on an island where the people have been waiting for rescue for generations. And they think that the metal man is pointing out the temple, and the temple will show where their rescue is coming. And it becomes a story about faith, and those who have it, and those who don't, and those who lose it. And how each of those has a part to play in the course of this society. So that is where this fits in, is the narrator is trying to carry forward the faith at a time of crisis, and that time of crisis is going to lead into Ken's series, starting with Lamentation, which you can find at the QR code on the right. Now, when I read this story, I read it as science fantasy, and in fact, I said in a discussion with Ken that George Lucas could learn a thing from him about how to do science fantasy right, because I thought his mix of magic, faith, and science was a wonderful mix. And Ken said, well, actually, no, it's not fantasy. It's all science if you look through the rest of the series. So that's something to look forward to this. So if this is what Ken's doing with his science, he is managing to make it integrate into the culture so well that it feels like part of the faith. Twice more Tovin climbed the steps and knelt to watch and pray, and each time he was met by cold silence. He wasn't sure what he had expected, but not silence. And when midday came and went, and when the small scattering of his faithful finally dispersed, Tovin fought the urge to weep again. "I think," Captain Ramey said as she gave the metal man a withering glare, "it's time to become our own salvation." Then she looked to her daughter. When Anna left the temple with her mother, Tovin knelt alone beside the object of his faith and closed his eyes. The tears came in silence, and in his mind he saw the tree upon the plain as the wind stripped its seeds and threw them to the sky. "Spirit of long ago, rise up like wind to carry me home." But no wind came, and outside the rain began to pour. And here we have the conflict between Tovin, who wants to believe but may no longer be able to, and Captain Ramey, who just wants to do what's right for guiding the people. No villains here, just conflicting visions. Who is right? Read the story, and then read Lamentation.